Ho ho ho, may your holly be well and truly ivied, and your balls are seasonally jingly. I bet you can't wait to get your hands on Santa's bulging sack, can you? Then we can get completely Wenceslas-lost. Yes, it's that special time of year where I cobble together a special clip show so I don't have to make a new one. Festive upcycling. But this year, there's 3. Yes, 3 coming your way on the glorious tube of you. So pour yourself a flagon of eggnog, have the sick bucket on standby, settle back and enjoy the wonders of the Drum Fettler celebrity compilations. I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my nose. Who can forget that classic hit song from all those Christmases ago by Wet, Wet, Wet? Yes, it's #1 all over the world for about 5 years. Fabulous. Anyway, what's that got to do with things here at the Fettling Vault of Burnham Towers? Well, I'll tell you. You will recall that Tommy Cunningham, the drummer with said band, has a resonator kit. Yes, Premier resonator kit. And he had it fitted with gold hardware, but he decided he wanted to change it to chrome hardware. So he had it sent here. Well, why not? Where else would he send it for the changeover? So here we are in the second of our special Christmas celebrity fettle compilations. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at what happened when Tommy's kit came to Blenheim Towers. What I need to do prior to its arrival is get all the parts I need. Now, it is a 1990s Premier resonator in a very special finish. At the moment, it has gold fittings, and the owner wants them changing to chrome fittings. So that means I've got to find hoops, lugs, rods, and I think that's just about it, really. Maybe some spurs as well. Don't know, I'll have to recheck the photographs. But I know I've got the rods, I know I've got the spurs, and maybe okay for the hoops, but one of the drums is a 10-inch, and I know for a fact that is going to be a right bugger to get 10-inch die-cast hoops in chrome. So, I've got some rods here, some T-rods for the bass drum. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, and I've got to go through this little lot and see if I've got enough. If not, I'll have to start getting in touch with my chums and asking them if they can help me. Rod-wise, I've got 2 of the long square head rods that go on the bottom of the drum, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 T-rods, so I'm going to have to find some more T-rods. I'll just see if perchance I have any of the really, oh, that looks like one of them, any of these square head T-rods that go at the bottom. That looks quite promising. Oh, that's a big one. Now I need to think about the claws, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those there. Hopefully, got some more here. Yes, I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, that's plenty. So we've got 23 of those, because I only need 20. Excellent. Right, so I've got the 20 claws that I need. I need to find some more T-rods. Now I need to have a think about lugs and hoops. It has arrived. I have one here, so let's open it up and have a little look. Now this is the smallest drum, and it is a 10-inch. Now this is one I was telling you about. I think I'm going to have a little trouble finding hoops for this. Now as you can see, it is gold plated. It's a very distinctive finish with these sort of theatrical and star sign motifs on them. It's all very nice. It seems to be lacquered on top, I don't know, have a look, but it's a resonator kit, so it's got the inner liners, which obviously will need removing in order to get at the back of the lugs for removal and replacement. I have many of the parts I need here. Some I haven't got quite so many of. That's the 440-20 lugs. Others, the 12120s. Yep, plenty of those, and plenty of the 12520s, and also the 12522s. We've already had a look and a route around for the T-rods and the claws for the bass drum. We've got spurs here, all ready to go on. Plenty of hooks there. So we already have a healthy stock of spares here in the fettling vault at Blenheim Towers. There's a few bits that I've still got to find and source. I'm sure my other fettling chums will be able to help me out. Right, we have the drums out of their cases, and don't they look lovely? Straight away there's a couple of things that spring out at me. Now, despite me trying to be very clever and smart and checking the contemporaneous spares handbook from the time these drums were made to see which lugs and parts I need, it seems that they have been fitted with different ones, which is the way things often go with Premier. You never know what to expect. Now, I thought that the 10 and the 12 at least would be fitted with 440-20 lugs, which are these ones. Here, a quick inspection shows that they are fitted with the 12120s, as you can see. Them ones, and on the 12. Now, the bass drum obviously has the 12520 lugs, which we all know and love. The 16-inch and the 14-inch have the 12522, which is basically the same lug but with a slightly different end piece for fitting the swivel nut and insert plate into. Now, the bass drum, what is interesting and a little bit annoying is the T-rods. Well, I'll just take one out and show you. Now, you will recall that I have been sourcing the T-rods. Like you will see, that is pretty much a standard 1990s Premier T-rod, as is this, the one that I was going to be using as replacements. As you can see, same design, gold, silver, silver, gold. But when we hold them up next to each other, you'll see the gold one is considerably longer. So, another lovely little discovery for me to deal with. Whether or not I will be able to get these T-rods the right length remains to be seen, because I'm fairly certain that they are not a standard item, and I've certainly not seen any recently that are quite that long. So, we must press on. It's a wonderful kit, and it's going to look even more wonderfuler when we've got all the lovely chrome parts on it. So, better get started, eh? I really need to start thinking about finding all the parts I need for the kit, and it's turning into quite a list, and it's a challenge. So, as usual, it's not going according to plan, because lots of the parts I thought I had, I don't have, so we have to go searching around the world for them. Bass drum, the T-rods, these are the extra long ones, can't find any. The claws are the 12524 die-cast claws. Normally these are plentiful and they're all over the place, but no, can I find any at the moment when I need them? No, I can't. So I may have to suggest to the client that we go with square head rods and an alternative 1990s Premier claw, of which I have a plentiful supply. So that's something I've got to ask them about and wait and see. So hopefully that will be okay. The 10-inch, now I have found one hoop, and it's on a snare drum that I built many years ago and then never used, and I'd forgotten about it until last night when I was sat there drinking my hot chocolate, having my biscuits, and I thought, that red sparkle snare drum, that's got a die-cast batter hoop, so I can steal that, replace it with a nice 2.3mm super hoop or something similar, and then I think I'm going to sell that drum. So that's something we'll look at maybe at a later date. The other hoop, well, I've found another one. It's for sale in a shop, but it's in the United States of America, so I've sent them a message to see if they would be kind enough to sell it to me and send it over here. It's going to be quite expensive, but don't seem to have any choice in the matter. The 12-inch, well, again, I thought I had plenty of hoops, but I don't. I've only got 13s, plenty of 13s, and that's a 12, so got to find the 12-inch hoops. See, it's all building up, all these parts I need. Now, 16, well, good news there. I've got plenty of 16-inch die-cast hoops, so that's okay. 14-inch, well, the hoops are there, so that's alright. Now, the other issue that I'm kind of dreading, fills me with fear and gives me the collie wobbles, is because this is a 90s resonator, is the inner liners could be glued in along the support spine, which is not the end of the world, but it is a bit worrying because obviously I have to get the inner liners out in order to get the lugs off, and when they're glued in, well, I don't know, I'd have to be very, 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 very careful, which I always am anyway, but it does worry me that if something does go wrong, it's a new liner, which is more delay and more expense, which we don't really want. So I need to go and make a list. Well, some good news. I've just taken the 14-inch tom from the Wet kit apart, and the liner is not glued in, which is good news. I thought that was going to cause me all sorts of problems, so I can take that out. What I'm going to do is this upside down, so I'm going to mark it. So I know that is the batter side, and look, it's got some Premier writing on it as well. So all I need to do now is get the lugs off, swap them over. As usual, the back washers are showing signs of moisture corrosion, so we'll have to deal with that. Great, well, that's good news. Happy bunny. That's the 14-inch done. So now I'm I'm going to move on to the 16-inch because that's another one that I've got all the parts for. Okay, the 16. Got the lugs here, the chrome ones to replace these gold ones, and all the nice shiny insidey bits are all here, and all the chrome tension rods. Now, on the subject of the other drums, it's uncharacteristically difficult at the moment for me to get some 12-inch die-cast hoops, which I didn't think would be that much of a challenge, but it's turning out to be a lot more difficult. So, but I you know, it's a quest I've got to fulfill. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. The 10-inch latest update, the one that I found in the States, they will sell it to me, but they won't ship it to the UK. So, shipping to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and its associated little islands is totally out of the question for some reason, but what can I do? So I'm trying to get them to send it to a friend of mine in Maryland. Hopefully that will be that, and the 10-inch will be done then. I'll just have to wait however long it takes for it to wing its way over here. It's never straightforward, is it? No. And the bass drum, of course, I need to get some answers on the claws and the rods, because we've got to change those for a slightly different design. So, well, we'll get on with the 16, I think. What I did notice on the 16, when I got the inner liner out, unlike the 14-inch, which, if you remember, had all the corroded backwashers, the 16s were actually really quite shiny. So I don't know why that is. Maybe the seal around the edges of the inner liner were much better. I don't know, but I have seen a lot of resonators with rusty backwashers in the underneath the liner. Rusty backwashers. Wasn't she a soul singer in the 60s? Yeah, maybe the memory's playing tricks on me. Time for the 10-inch. Here it is. Now, you will recall that we're having some problems with the hoops, and the original plan was, or still is, I'm trying to get one from the United States of America via a friend from a shop that won't ship internationally. So where's the other one coming from? Well, it's going to come out of this case, or at least it was, because in here is my Red Sparkle mini snare drum. I made this some time ago, and it has a die-cast hoop that I've just noticed. It's a 6-lug. During the 1990s, Premier changed their 10-inch hoop from a 5-lug to a 6-lug. So, yet another monkey wrench in the works, another pole in the spokes. Now, as you will no doubt recall, we were having a few issues with finding the correct spares. Namely, or to start with, the tension rod for the bass drum. It's a very long one. I've not been able to get the right one in this length in chrome, so what we're going to do is we're going to get some special square head rods from a specialist supplier in France, no less, 165mm, which is what these are, but they don't have the T, they have a square head. Also, the gold 125 claws. Now, again, these, strangely enough, getting chrome ones used to be very easy. Not so easy these days, I can tell you. So we're going to go with these, which are another Premier design from the 90s instead. So that is that problem solved. The 10-inch, well, the hoops. I found some hoops. Found one in the USA and one in the Ukraine. The one in the USA, the shop decided that they would not ship to me, so that was off the table. The one in the Ukraine, we eventually ascertained it was not a 5-lug, it was a 6-lug, so that was no good. But I did manage to find a chap in Australia that had 2 hoops, brand new, that he was willing to sell to me, and then at the 11th hour he too realised that they were 6 lug, not 5 lug. This is because at some point in the 90s Premier changed their die-cast 10-inch hoops from 5 lug to 6 lug. We're going to go with steel hoops, so I've got to have a dig around in the hoop store, see if I've got any decent 5 lug steel hoops. The 12-inch is a little easier. Again, hoops, you'd think 12-inch, that's quite common, should be able to get those quite easily. I thought I had some, I didn't, so I've been shopping around with all my chums saying, have you got any 12-inch Premier die-cast hoops, streamline, international size? Everyone has got bloody pre-international. I've got pre-international, no one's got any international size streamline, except for a nice chap in France who I've had to buy them from. A salutary lesson of the global world we live in, where the shop front is all 4 corners of the earth. All I've got to do now is wait for the 12-inch hoops to arrive, find the 10-inch hoops, get the rods from France, and then change the lugs over on the 10 and the 12, and we're finished. Well, we've got some good news on the 10-inch hoops for the Wet 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 kit. I've found 2 Premier steel hoops. They're the ones with the round holes, as Premier used to make them like that. I've got one that's in very nice condition, and one that's not quite so nice, but I think I can do a little bit of wizardry on it with the Scabatron and get rid of all the oomshka that's gathered on it over the years of neglect it's obviously had. So that's some good news. Hopefully that will be that little issue solved and put to beddy byes. Well, they have come up really nice. Even the very, very scabby one, covered in all sorts of SH1T. Look, that's quite beautiful, even though I do say so myself. That's the 10-inch done, lugs all changed, chrome hoops on, chrome rods. So the next thing will either be the 12-inch or the bass drum. Now that depends very much on which parts arrive first. Now I've just realised I've ordered these parts, the 12-inch die-cast hoops and the 165mm tension rods, from locations in France, and there was general strike which started a few days ago, and I'm not even sure if it's still going on or what's happening, so who knows what's going to happen there. On to the Wet 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 12-inch tom. Once the inner liner had been taken out and the lugs removed, it was just a case of giving the external finish a good clean with some proprietary multi-surface cleaner, making sure to get into all the nooks and crannies and round the badge to make sure everything was shiny, ship-shape and indeed Bristol fashion. Then the liner is refitted, nice and tight seam and flush round all the bearing edges. Les sons de tambour sont arrivés. Yes, the 12-inch die-cast hoops are here. Just had notification via electronic mail that the tension rods for the Wet 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 bass drum from France are coming today, so that means I better get stuck into the bass drum and get things all stripped down and ready so we can expedite that little job, get it out of the way and get it returned to Tommy. Oh, that's the bass drum done. Through the wonders of electronic mail, once again I've had another notification about the tension rods, and they are now not coming today. They're coming tomorrow, which could be interesting because tomorrow is a Sunday. So do I think they will come tomorrow? Do I buggery? Okay, Sunday came and went, but you know it didn't come. The tension rods. So here we are, the following day, which is controversially Monday, and thankfully the tension rods have arrived, and I've checked them against the others. They are the right length. Hurrah! Huzzah! And similar sorts of exclamations. We can get the bass drum finished. So if you take a look here, you can see we've got, those are the rods, and there's the lugs, which are in the process of giving a lovely little polish too. So now all I need to do is put it all back together, and that's it. The wet kit is finished. I'll see you in a little while. As if by magic before your very eyes. The drum's already done. Well, it's been a fun project, this. A few challenges on the way, but I think you'll agree the results speak for themselves. So, nice little job. Swap out the gold hardware for chrome hardware. So we've got a box of gold hardware to go back to Tommy should he want to change them back in the future. So all that remains now is need to get this into its case, and then it can wing its way back up north. Well, there you have it, all done, all fettled and looking wonderful. Right, that's it for this edition of the special Christmas Celebrity Fettling compilation. Join me again soon for the last in the short series of these special shows. See you soon!